you're currently an active student.
I am, yes.
Currently active student and have a business and do consulting work.
Yes.
Kudos to you.
Thank you.
Hey, gang. The Headley Group Real Estate Show is a video audio podcast designed to highlight and interview real estate professionals, entrepreneurs, and other fields alike. The mission of our podcast is to acknowledge people of color and show their successes, and in return, help our audience learn from them and pick up tips and tricks in building additional income.
Hey, ladies and gents, this is Mike Headley. We are back. Another great episode on Headley Group Real Estate Show. Listen, this is a unique show. What I mean by unique, this is actually our first time in a long time recording in our studio, where we actually have the guest right next to me, right? So I thought that was kudos to us, as well as our wonderful guests who we got a young lady here, and one thing about our show, we keep it honest, we keep it real. I think that's the best way to be. Met her actually a few years ago at a conference in Atlanta, Georgia, and we was just in line. Actually, we was getting something to eat, and somehow, next to people, and you having conversation, you talking, and she said that she's kind of great with social media, and she's an inspiring businesswoman, and just like had a lot of knowledge, and I was very impressed that the words was coming out of her mouth. So I said, listen, you go to these events, you exchange phone numbers and you change business cards. A lot of times people call you, some people don't. But I think she was shocked when I followed up with her. So actually, we are using her services now, which happens to be Jayda Wealth Consulting. Let's give a warm welcome to Miss Jayda Jones.
Good. Thanks for having me, Mike. I appreciate this time. I'm excited for the podcast.
Oh, man, listen, let me tell you something, Jay. Like I said, we brought you when I saw you and we was having them conversation. I said, listen, I can use your expertise just to kind of get us going, get us going and seeing what our inefficiencies are to make us efficient, right? So you said, hey, listen, I think I can help out with that. You came on board and you really did some phenomenal things, not only for the show, but actually for the real estate brokerage. Kudos to you on that.
Thank you. No, it's exciting. I'm super excited to be here. Having worked with you guys for some time, it's exciting to be here and kind of a full circle moment, if you might say.
This is definitely full circle moment. Now here's the thing. We are, we was doing the show and we do everything from a virtual standpoint. And I said, hey, listen, Jayda, why don't you do the show in-house? And she said, Mike, I love to do it. So we're going to dive right into it. The whole social media, consulting, business, just that aspect, the way you think. Your company here, Jayda Wealth Consulting, what was that itch? What was that thing that made you say, hey, listen, the world needs to hear Jayda? What was it?
So that's a really great question. And honestly, I would say that actually really started with me diving into entrepreneurship myself. I became an entrepreneur at the end of 2019, where I wanted to actually start an events-based venue, but I ended up pivoting towards having my own t-shirt brand that was in relation to my past experience as an engineering student. And so once I took on that role as an entrepreneur, I was in love with the idea of personal development and investing in yourself and, going to go meet people that have that level of success that you want. And so within that, I was able to learn lots of information that, you probably wouldn't find at your local business school. So within that, I really learned a lot more, not being in school, but having that real life entrepreneurship, experience, and really that school of life kind of thing. And so I had a lot of friends reaching out to me, asking me for tips and, my advice on their businesses and how to start their own business and how to get their stuff off the ground. And so I was actually helping one of my friends, believe it or not, his name is Dave Chappelle.
His name is Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Wow. I know he gets a lot of. I know he gets a lot of jokes, but wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. His name's Dave Chappelle. Okay. He's an entrepreneur himself, and we went to college together. And he actually always kind of inspired me because I knew that he had vending machines and he had his own life insurance brokerage or his own company. So I feel like that was maybe my first probably uphand experience when it comes to entrepreneurship. And so I guess in its own kind of full circle moment, you know, when I started my journey a few years later, and he's kind of asking me for advice on, you know, maybe his website or, you know, how to get certain things off the ground. He was like, wow, you know, do you charge for this? And I was like, no, I don't. And he was like, you probably should. And I said, wow, really? And so literally the next day I started Jaywell Consulting, and, you know, I filed for the LLC, and I filed, you know, and got everything together. So within that, that's really what kind of catalyzed it, is just that opportunity to give back to other people, and kind of give my personal entrepreneurship experience and make that packaged into, you know, edible amounts for people that maybe new or at different levels of entrepreneurship themselves.
Well, you know, we've got to unpack, so, you know, you said so many good things there. What first of all, like I said, the guy Dave Chappelle, that's hilarious there. Right. The fact that you said the Dave Chappelle was in so many different businesses, right?
Yeah.
And he had a lot of strengths in these other areas, but he lacked in the social media space, right? And that was your spark to say, okay, well, let me get my business going. Did you, when you move forward, you filed your corporation documents? You know, some people don't understand exactly that process. Was that challenging for you to do that, or you like what did you do to say, hey, you know, let me get my own corporation? I don't need to hire another company, you know, to do it for me. What was some simple steps like that for you to let me get my corporation going, and when did you actually receive your first client? Oh,
that's a great question. So I will say shout out to Dave Chappelle. He actually is really great on social media in particular. I think some of his questions was really just more so as it relates to website and landing, which is something I've always been doing really since I was a kid, is building websites and, you know, on the graphic design aspect. And so, you know, we're just kind of exchanging knowledge in a sense. And so definitely more so of an exchange there. But I guess in terms as it relates to filing that corporation, believe it or not, I actually do use a service. I'm big on investing in things that will save you time, consolidate, help you organize. And so not a paid promotion, but I utilize what's called Northwest Registered Agent. And so that's a website that
they're not paying us.
Yeah, they're not paying us. Not a paid promotion, but if they want to send me a check, they can. But no, Northwest Registered Agent, if you're familiar with the registered agent, that is the person that is listed. Your registered agent is somebody that is supposed to be there on a 9-to-5 basis, Monday through Friday. And let's say you get served papers, you know, somebody wants to sue you, that's the address and that's the person that they're going to serve it to. And so from early on, and these are some of the things that I feel like really set me on an accelerated route to entrepreneurship, is that I knew these things from the beginning. And so, you know, I knew that you don't want to list yourself, you don't want to list your own personal address on your LLC, on your corporation documents. And so I invested in having the Northwest Registered Agent be able to file my LLC as well as act as my registered agent for an entire year. And so all my documents get sent there and they just scan and upload them. And so for me, I knew that I'm a type of person, I travel a lot, I move a lot, I'm kind of young myself. So, you know, keeping up with certain things, you know, I knew ahead of time, okay, well, let me invest in this so all my legal documents can just be sent there and I don't have to worry about keeping up with them, as well as you know, if a legal situation happens, you know, then they have this address versus my address, which I know is publicly listed.
Exactly. Well, let's dive into that. You know, you said I'm young myself, as my phone dropped. You said I'm young myself, but you have this energy, and it's like I said, by me just having a conversation with you consistently, that you're you know, some people could be young in age, but very mature in terms of, you know, how they think. And where did that come from? Did that come from, like you tell us, where does that come from for you to just want more and do things the right way, getting corporation documents, making sure you're utilizing your time correctly?
Right.
Where did that come from, Jayda? We tapping into Jayda right
now. Definitely. I think that's a great question. So one thing about me is I actually was raised by my grandparents. And so I feel like that is something that kind of set me to have a slightly mature mindset. And I would say really living with my grandparents was something that really kind of set me off to care about financial literacy, to care about investing, to care about my finances, because I remember when I first got my first job, I used to work at White Castle, which is a
White Castle's what?
Yes.
Brooklyn, New York. We know about White Castle. The little burgers 99 cents with the fake meat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, believe it or not, I worked there for 2.5, 3 years.
Okay.
And so,
Okay.
you know, as a high school student, when the minimum wage was like it was $7.35 at the time, but we were actually making $9 an hour at White Castle.
Okay.
So
Wow.
at that time, that's significantly more. And so for me, you know, I'm making money, you know, in high school for, you know, $100 a week, you know, that's a lot, you know, and so upwards to $1,000 a month, you know, it was kind of a lot. So, you know, my grandparents used to always tell me, you know, save your money, save your money. Are you saving your money? Are you saving your money? And I wasn't, you know, at first, but, you know, once I kind of got that experience of, you know, just spending and buying all the stuff I wanted, I felt like, okay, well, I can kind of see the value in why I should save my money. And so I really say that influence and, you know, just kind of being around older people. My siblings are, you know, my next oldest sibling is 7 years older, and then it just goes up from there. So I think I just always kind of being around older individuals.
She has an old soul, y'all.
Yes, has really just kind of influenced me to kind of have a more mature mindset. But I think that go-getter mindset, I think it just comes from, you know, as I would say, kind of most is not having certain things, you know, when you were younger, and, you know, wanting certain things for myself. So, you know, I wanted to get a job. My grandparents was like, no, you don't have to get a job. But I'm like, no, I want a job because I knew that there's certain things I wanted to buy, you know, that they wasn't going to buy. So instead of going without it, you know, I did something about it and I just got a job, you know. So, you know, and I think that aspect of time management is kind of where it started, because when I first started my job, you know, I was playing soccer and I'm in school and, you know, involved in different stuff like that. So I feel like all of that, you know, kind of started earlier. But in terms of entrepreneurship, I think entrepreneurship found me.
I like that. I like that.
Hey guys, thank you for watching our show. We're going to interrupt you real quickly. We are in the business of referrals. If you know someone looking to buy or sell, residential or commercial, here in the North Carolina area, refer us. We really appreciate that.
So let's go back, because we didn't quite answer it. Somebody probably was watching the same. She didn't answer that part.
Okay.
Transition into Jayda Consulting.
Right.
Your first client.
Oh, yes.
And now you got your first client, and I think, and I don't know if it was a success or was it a bust.
Right.
But walk us through that.
Yeah.
And what did it feel like getting that first client?
You know, honestly, I like to look at my consulting business really as what I was doing as a graphic designer. And so I think that for me, what I focus on within Jayda Consulting is to help companies build their businesses with branding and to keep their business moving along with strategy. And so when it comes to branding, to me, branding is what graphic design is, you know, it's creating those flyers, creating those logos, creating these things that really kind of start companies, you know, on their road to what their customers experience with their brand. And so within my first client, I really just kind of relate that to having graphic design clients, and really I feel like it became that consulting field, because, you know, I may do their logo, and then next I'm doing their website, and then next I'm doing their flyers and their thank you cards and their whole thing. So it really felt like I'm literally helping build people's businesses. Correct, you know. Correct. So within that, my first consulting client was actually someone that I went to high school with. And so I love that, because, you know, I know a lot of times, especially floating through social media, people are so concerned and worried that people that they know won't support them. But I'm just super blessed to say that, honestly, I've received a lot of support from people that I've known for a long time. You know, I transferred schools, you know, to North Carolina A&T, but
we can't just let that go past.
Okay, you know,
That's right. Shouts to North Carolina A&T State University.
The illustrious.
And now you said transfer, so you're currently an active student.
I am, yes.
Currently active student, and have a business, and do consulting work.
Yes.
Kudos to you.
Thank you. And so within that, my first consulting client, we went to high school together. Believe it or not, we actually went to elementary school together. Okay. I remember we used to walk home from school when she used to live on my street. But you know, it's just amazing, really, just all these full circle moments. And I think that it's just so awesome being able to support people that I've known for some time. I think that's amazing. And you know, then, you know, I started, I did her logo, and then I ended up doing her website, like I say, her thank you cards, and things like that. And we're still working together today, and I think that's just awesome. Seeing that customer loyalty from people that I've been working with, almost for over a year now. So, building other businesses, I have a consultant client. She is a, what does she do? She has perfumes, vegan, West African inspired perfumes. And so, also did her logo, and, people come to me ideas, and it's so fun because all of the way that I run my consulting brand business is very intended to be more personable, and so where I literally make friends with people that I'm clients that are my clients because I'm working with you for so long, and then you're bouncing ideas off of me. I'm a sounding board. I listen. I may give my advice if you ask. But on the secondary aspect of consulting the content, and the content side, I would say my first client off a long-term basis was actually you.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I done took a chance on a rookie. Now I'm playing. I'm joking. That's good. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. That's
off
a good
of a longer time basis.
Okay.
But then I've even had content development mentees and people that I work with off of a similar basis, and being able to, help other individuals be able to get more comfortable with posting on social media or developing that strategy aspect, making their Instagrams aesthetically pleasing, and, aiding in being able to efficiently create their content so it's not as much of a chore.
Okay. I got to interject now, so because I don't want you to give too much of the good secrets up yet before we dive in, because again, we are a real estate show, which we sitting around helping real estate professionals show them how they can grow their business within real estate and outside of real estate. But my point in saying that is that the power of this digital space, social media, because again, you've been a big plus with us.
Thank you.
When you see business people, realtors, accountants, attorneys, whatever, and they're not utilizing social media to what it can really do for their business. The ones who really neglect it, right?
Yeah.
What do you say to them? Like, nah, I don't need that. I've been doing things the way I always been doing it, right? We don't need that. Like, so what's your thoughts on that?
I think my thoughts on that, I think that most people that are against social media probably simply don't know as much about it as they could.
Okay.
And so within that lack of knowledge, they are avoidant of social media because there's different platforms, and there's Instagram, there's Twitter, there's TikTok, and all these different things, and sometimes there's new apps that come out, and there's all these crazy waves and stuff like that. And I think that can feel intimidating to some people, especially if people are not as comfortable with technology itself. But I definitely think that it's important for people to always stay adaptable, and always stay adaptable, because if you're very resistant to change, then change is inevitable. Change is almost the definition of life. So if you aren't willing to change, then life is going to pass you up eventually. Right. So that's kind of my take on that.
That you say some great things there, because you get some people older and younger. I think some people, well, really we're going to say the older ones, because the young ones, they're sliding right into what's currently going. But sometimes some young people like, nah, I don't need that.
Yeah.
But and that's what we harbor on. Like I said, that's the reason why we brought on board, so we can have that fresh mind, right?
Yeah.
So we're not saying that old person doesn't have it, but let me get somebody who's in the business, and also who's in the business of what they're doing, and they're really infused in it, right?
Yeah.
So that's why, like I said, we asked you to come on, which has been a plus to us, right?
I just thought about something. I have to shout out my first client. I totally forgot. That's so sad.
So we wasn't the first. So we were second best.
I have to shout out my first client. She actually has a gamer page.
Okay.
And so she has a Twitch account, if you know what that is.
Twitch.
So it's
still in existence?
Yeah. So it's
Twitch.
like a live streaming account.
Okay.
And so she plays.
You don't have that. Yeah.
And so she basically plays like Call of Duty and Fortnite and stuff like that. Okay. She gets subscriptions, and like people pay for her subscription. So I ran a social media audit for her Instagram and kind of helped her with being able to developed that 3-step content strategy, which is something I developed from my own t-shirt brand. And she, saw results, almost immediately. My personal guarantee is if you don't see results in the first 30 days, then it's your money back. And so I put that on me because I'm very results oriented. I believe that, paying per hour is one thing, but you want the result because, people can waste your time, what I mean?
Boy.
So I believe
you gonna waste my time, I'm gonna call you out. Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. So I definitely and I just felt that that was a level of accountability to put on myself, even at the beginning, is to say, hey, I'm willing to give your full money back, based off of this information, because I believe in what I'm saying so much. So.
I like that, but here's the thing. Now we talked about the good times. We talked about you starting, who you are. Hit the people with the point where, man, we didn't dealt with somebody, they didn't really want to pay, or we applied for a particular service, we thought we was getting X and we really got R.
Yeah.
Basically hit us with a gloomy moment, right? Where a gloomy moment, but you stood up and you prevailed. Like what was hit us with one of them?
Within my own experience, or
within your own experience, right? And so this way, people, because somebody out there right now is watching Jayda and saying, "That's me." So talk to that avatar.
Man, so I would have to say that I've been blessed when it comes to clients. Okay. So and I don't know. I think that's just the type of route in which I decide to conduct business. So I don't conduct business with just anybody, and I don't, I'm not money hungry. Okay. So, I don't just kind of, accept things, because I know that, that my time is valuable. And even if you are paying me, it's still a certain, level of boundaries that have to be put in place. And so I work with people that are amazing people, honestly, truly. So gotcha. Okay. I don't have that too much experience, but in my own experience of paying for services that didn't go as well, I feel like those are some of the things that have motivated me to be particular about who I work with, and qualifying clients. I'm very big on qualifying clients, and not allowing just anybody to work with you, because we might not see the same vision. But sometimes I feel like people may come to me for consulting, but sometimes people just want a sounding board. Like, they don't really want my advice. They just want you to kind of talk. Yeah, hear themselves talking.
Got you.
So that's kind of a different scenario. So I could be open to that, but ultimately I think with the clientele that I work with, I like to work with people that are amazing people that are, will be here for the long term, and, can have, like a friendship, so it's kind of like, dating. If I can't be friends with you, then I can't work with you.
That's right. So have you ever, this is real quick, you ever had to fire a client?
Fire a client?
I'm putting you on the spot now. Whoever worked with her. Have you ever fired a client?
I've never fired a client, but I've had to exhibit some levels of patience, for sure. Definitely some levels of patience. But I've never fired a client. I've never had a client that was extremely bad. Gotcha. So I will say that. But, just understanding more so what people's personalities are. Now, that's a thing too, is just understanding people's personalities to know, like, okay, this person might change their mind a few times, And so while that may not sit well with me at first, I'm like, okay, well, this person, they really want to work with me. Like, they really want to work with me, and they, they're respectful in a sense, but, they might change their mind a few times, but I'm willing to work with that because, hey, we're human, I change my mind sometimes too. And I understand, just within business, sometimes, especially in the early stages, is so much to figure out, especially as it relates to branding. There's so many things, there's so much new information. So I think that's why I value working with select clients, because I can give you that type of attention. And so it does require a level of patience, but just also a level of understanding, and just allows me to be able to move in my own way to accommodate you. So it's not, I feel like things are never overly formal, which I kind of
Correct.
enjoy. And I think that's the best part about entrepreneurship, that, I can show up and be myself. I can put myself in scenarios. I can work with people that are expecting me to be this certain way. And I think honing back in on social media, I think social media allows you to show up in that way, no matter what profession you are. So, you mentioned accountants and things. I actually got to meet someone named Michel Von Braun. He's a CPA tax preparer.
Okay.
Well, hopefully I'm using the right words.
Okay.
But he raps. Like I can't think of his name, but his rap name. But he raps, and he has high ticket clients, you know what I mean? So but I just think with the power of social media is you can present your personality on social media, and those people that really resonate with your personality will come work with you. Because not everybody is just like suit and collar, kind of thing. But at the same time, you want to omit a level of professionalism at the baseline always, to where you can still work with those clients, but at the same time, I think entrepreneurship should work for you. I believe in building a business that works for you, not just finding a business that simply makes money, and I know a lot of people's opinions may be different from that, but I became an entrepreneur because I like, to have freedom and agency over my life and what I do and who I work with, so I didn't join entrepreneurship. I didn't become a consultant to be a slave to anybody's, to anybody's notion. So
tell it.
That's just, a little bit of my path.
Quick commercial break. If you're interested in a career in real estate, or you're a seasoned vet, and you might want to change, new environment, you don't like the atmosphere you're in, the Headley Group Realty could be there to assist you with your career. What do we offer? Great culture, great environment, leads, and an awesome commission structure. Let us be there to support your business. One thing, you got to be in the state of North Carolina. Let's get back to the show.
Well, the great thing about, you said so many great things there. Like I said, we brought you on board. You said one thing, which is a great transition, what we're going to talk about next is, you said, Mike, trust the process.
Yes. You
said, trust the process.
Yeah.
And one thing, we never micromanage or hover it over you. We let you go, right? And you worked well with you can't see her, but we have Kayla in the back, and she's our wonderful marketing person.
Yes.
You can't see it, but they teamed up together and put out, like I said, some very, very dope, great stuff. Trust the process.
Yes.
T-shirt brand.
Yes.
Okay. What made that come up? What made you want to spark that?
Well, I believe what made that come up for me, honestly, was my experience studying engineering in the past. And so engineering was something that has really helped build even my foundation as an entrepreneur. And being as organized and as detail oriented as I am is something that has really, really been beneficial for me. So being at my last school, I used to go to the University of Missouri, Kansas City. And there, I met a lot of great, awesome people. And I eventually switched my major to engineering. Now, just like entrepreneurship, I never really even knew what engineering was, to be honest.
Okay.
And so I was entering something because I initially went to school to do pharmacy, but that was really because I was just doing something that I knew paid a lot of money,
Gotcha.
To be honest. Like, I knew that it paid a lot of money. It sounded kind of easy, but when I got there, and I took that chemistry class, I'm like, well, this is a beast. Yes, I'm like, this is nothing like high school. So, I just, decided to switch my major, and I knew I didn't want to be a doctor. I thought about dentistry for like 2 weeks, and I knew, I never considered business really as a major because I just didn't see the value in it, at the time. And so within there, I knew that I liked science and biology. I did better in my biology classes than my chemistry classes. So I said, okay, well, let me do some research, and I ended up learning about biomedical engineering. And so within learning about biomedical engineering, they didn't actually have that major at the school. So I decided to pursue mechanical engineering with a minor in biology. And I guess to kind of fast forward, within that school, there wasn't as much diversity within the engineering department, especially as it relates to the educators themselves. Okay. And so for me in that experience, and shout out to NSBE, the National Society of Black Engineers, they have conferences, and the first conference that I went to was the largest one. It was 13,000 people there.
Wow.
And so within there, I'm getting to meet these great individuals, and I'm getting to see all these companies and things like that, and they have vendor booths, right? Okay. And they sell t-shirts, and I decided to buy one. And so the next year goes, and I go, have a great time and things like that. And they have the vendor booths, but they have the same exact people there. And, none of the t-shirts changed, or the other t-shirts that were there, I didn't really like them. But me personally, I personally like to wear t-shirts. Okay. I that's just something that I've always kind of liked. And just going there, I just didn't see shirts that were fashionable or that were really sparked out. But I know that engineers of all races tend to take a lot of pride in what they do. I mean, because Correct. Engineering is a really commendable field, Okay. So within that, I ended up kind of deciding to transfer to North Carolina A&T because of that diversity system, that support behind the engineering department. And I knew that they actually produced the highest number of Black engineers in the country. So with knowing that information and knowing that they actually had connections to the company that I wanted to work for, I decided to, to make that transition. So before I actually made that actual move to A&T, I started my entrepreneurship journey. So like I said, I purchased a course on how to start your own event-based venue. Okay. And there came a free add-on on how to start your own t-shirt brand for free. And so within that, I went through that entire aspect of the course, and I learned about efficient business models for t-shirt brands. I don't have the inventory in my house. I have maybe some on hand, but I don't have the entire inventory that people actually purchase in my home. And so learning about that, I'm like, wow, this makes a lot of sense. And so within that, I was kind of exploring the different ways I would want to go about that brand. But I just say all this to say that I noticed that when you niche down, when you're able to really focus in on something, you can really tap into that market. And so seeing that engineering is one, I know that people take a lot of pride in their field, and being in that real life experience, I said, okay, well, NSBE, this is the biggest engineering organization. I'm seeing the same shirts. So I'm seeing a area in the market that could be filled. Correct. Essentially. And so I decided to, develop the business trust the process code to be able to increase Black representation in STEM. So that's really the purpose behind the brand. And so I offer t-shirts that are for engineers, Black doctors, lawyers, educators, nurses. And so with the goal to be able to not only encourage them to trust the process, because, we're talking STEM fields here. Correct. So, they're difficult. And also, to be able to show some of the younger generation of people that are already in this field, or that are becoming into this field, because I believe that a lot of the imagery that we see are people from 30, 40, 50 years ago. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's a disconnect, within the media itself, of people not highlighting people, which is why your show is so awesome. Highlighting people of the now, and allowing people to give that information, that advice now. I think that's so critical to the advancement of our culture.
Nice. Let me tell you something. We got a couple of segments that we want to dive into, but Jayda, I want you to give the audience one. We'll usually ask for two, but we got this other segment coming. Give the audience one quick golden nugget, right? That they can feed off, run with, book, scripture, quote. What is that?
So I think one of the greatest quotes, maybe not one of the greatest, but I think something that's been very crucial in my experience, because I have had experience hiring individuals to help me within my brand, very big on like VAs, and I know as you are too, like having people kind of help you, assist you in that journey. So in my experience, within hiring people and getting people onto the team, I learned that people don't care what you know until they know that you care. And so within that being said, when you're building teams, or when you're working with people want to feel valued. You know what I mean?
Right.
People want to feel valued. People want to feel like you actually care about them and their well-being. And so, while you can help them advance on a technical level, I think sometimes it's hard to get through to people, especially as an entrepreneur and you're piloting this vision. People, but the very first person that helped me within my business, I was very dead set on learning how this experience could benefit her. And so very early on, we laid out, just the different ways that we could add this to her resume. I wanted to know what her future goals were. She let me know that she was interested in becoming a lawyer in the future. And I'm like, wow, well, this is perfect, that aspect. And the reason why I say that's so important is because, the next time I went to go work with someone, I did not take that time out. And I did not take that time out, and she did not last, and so, and I genuinely feel like it's because I was so focused on what I needed in that moment, and, what I needed, and, where I was trying to go. And, I maybe talked about the brand vision a little bit, but I feel like I didn't show as much care to her. So, she didn't last as long. So, so within that, I just took that with me and make sure that, I'm always just trying to learn what people's goals are, learn how what I'm doing can fit into what you're doing, and learn how we can advance that together.
Nice.
So even if I am the one that's, giving you money, you still know that I care about what you have going on outside of this.
And give us that quote one more time.
So the quote is that people don't care what you know until they know that you care.
Awesome. Check it out. Now we got our fun segment of the show. Again, we thanking Jayda Jones with J Wealth Consulting. And again, the name of that t-shirt business called Trust the Process. Now, we got this fun game. That you don't know nothing about. It was a surprise that we decided to come up with. And we said, me and Miss Kayla said that I think this would be something good for you and I and the audience. Okay, so this is a little quickie here.
Okay.
And it's either this or that, right?
I like it.
Okay, so we say tea or coffee?
Tea.
Tea. Okay.
Tea.
Music or podcast?
Ooh.
When you're driving?
Podcast, for sure.
Okay. Do you prefer working alone or with a team?
Working alone.
Working alone. Okay.
Working alone.
So vacation or staycation?
Vacation, me now.
Vacation. Okay. Fruits or vegetables?
Fruits, for sure.
Okay, fruits. Okay.
Yeah.
So are you a big fan of online shopping, or you like to go in them stores?
Take me to the mall. I'd rather go in person.
Okay. And the ultimate, mountains, or you like to go to the beach?
Oh, that's a hard one. I would definitely have to say the beach.
You said the beach.
The beach, for sure.
Listen, that will go ahead and wraps up our good fire round for this or that. And again, we want to thank Jayda Jones for coming on the show. J Wealth Consulting, again, Trust the Process brand. She has always been a wealth of knowledge, and again, she works great with us here with all of our teams. And we want to thank you for being on the show, miss.
Yes, thank you for having me. This is awesome. I'm just excited about the collaboration that we have, and
That's right.
You've been a great person to work with, and it's been amazing seeing how your
like you about
business
to quit.
operates.
We gonna keep working.
I'm getting my resignation.
Exactly, right. We do this live. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It's awesome business. I'm excited to work here. So thank you.
Listen, we want to thank everybody for tuning to the show. And again, what we're trying to accomplish. We like you like, support, and share. And we'll see you all next time on Headley Real Estate Show. Take care.
Thank you.
Hey gang, I hope you really enjoyed that show. Our guests provide us some great tips and insight, and please support them on all social media platforms. And while I'm saying that, support us on all social media platforms, and don't forget, watch the entire video on YouTube. We'll see you next time.